Today I want to talk about a particular line of rums from a particular bottler. Rum Nation, started by Fabio Rossi, trained as a winologist, who eventually found his way over to whiskey and then over to rum after discovering, basically lots of old rum barrels aging away in warehouses in Scotland, I suppose. Rum Nation, stop me if any of this sounds familiar. Rum Nation, founded in 1999. They started, bottling older rums, not by the name of the distillery, but by the name of the country. So a lot of these were barrels that were aged initially tropically and then moved over to the continent for further aging. These folks have been fond of, finishing whiskeys and finishing rums in other casks. And for a long while actually, a lot of their releases were dosed. A lot of their releases had some added sugar in them because that was the style at the time. Back circa 1999 up through the early Obama years, premium whiskey was watered down to 40%, had tons of color added and other additives, including lots and lots of sugar. And they are still out there getting positive reviews on, various websites. And, if that's your jam, I am very happy for you. Please keep drinking those, but never been my thing. Here's what happened though. Around 2015, they kind of changed gears. They decided we're basically not going to do our sort of super sugary bottlings anymore. We're going to do something with a little bit more integrity, a little bit closer to the still, a little bit closer to the barrel. Just kind of much more taking what the producer is making, ideally just keeping it tropically distilled and putting it in the bottle. Especially focusing on particular, still naming it by country, not naming particular distillers, but focusing on particular kinds of producers. And one of the it's just to show, and that you can do this, and you can do this. You can put something in a bottle without tampering with it, and have it be and charge normal prices. You don't have to charge more for not doing anything. And that is not, what is the word, extreme. Sorry. So it is the story of a bottler starting off in a particular direction, which is still followed by others. Others who seem to be having difficulty with changing their name, among other things. And actually, managing to shift gears in a more integrity-oriented direction. So I wanted to celebrate that. Celebrate Rum Nation's change of direction by going through their Jamaica range, which is all from St. Catherine Parish in Jamaica, which is to say not so hidden as Worthy Park. This is all Worthy Park stock, and pretty good at that. So we have their unaged rum, pot distillate, a 5-year-old, which has been sherry finished. Let's pour this. And a cask strength one at 7 years old, which has not been finished in nothing. So let's do some reviews. Okay. So really, for Rum Nation as a brand, it's this first bottling that is the most important. It seemed to have been this very bottle, this very release, that seems to have been the important turning point, because this is a 2015 release of a limited edition Jamaica pot still rum from St. Catherine, Jamaica. This was the first thing, so far as I know, the first thing they'd done at this kind of proof, and the first thing they'd done basically just sort of straight from the still with a little bit of water added just to get it down to 57%. So 100 British proof, and kind of doing nothing else to it. This was their first attempt at doing this. So a little bit historical, and the rest kind of follows in the same direction. You can still buy this, actually. It's still out there. All right, so what we got here is some Worthy Park. No age on it. No idea what mark this is or if it's a blend. From 2015. Let's stick our nose in. Oh, heavenly. Glorious kind of mid-mark Worthy Park. So it's one of the marks kind of in the middle of the ester range, or it's a blend maybe of a couple of things, kind of ending up in the middle. It's funky, but it's not sort of, really over the top. There's a lot of desserty elements. There's some pound cake, olive juice, black licorice, but then like a splash of seawater on all of that. Very briny. And a lot of vanilla on this. It's almost, almost tequila-like in a way, sort of valley lowland tequila note. That kind of vanilla character. But then there's some like tomato juice or maybe V8 juice. Batch of dried flowers, some floral elements, banana peel, some coconut oil, like virgin coconut oil, and a little bit more of a green note, like exactly one artichoke heart that was marinated in oil or something. It's a delightful nose. It's Jamaica all the way. Very well done. And you can just tell, like even with this much character, that it's still a little bit tight, that it can open up with water on the palate. The mouthfeel, at least this point, with no water added, again, 57% alcohol. The mouthfeel is a hair bit short, a hair bit thin, but otherwise all is well. We are in Jamaica. We are in St. Catherine. We are at Worthy Park. Aniseed, lots of anise. If you were to make a birthday cake out of anise, this is kind of what it would taste like. It's very cakey and anisey. But then you're going to drench your birthday cake in like olive juice and seawater. That's kind of what I'm getting. And it's great. There's a little bit of rubber, more like rubber cement. But nice. Dried flour, Turkish delight, that V8 juice note again, and white pepper. And it's very minerally too. There's some wet rocks in this. I mean, it's pretty much just, with the exception of that slightly short character, which I know, just from kind of experience, is going to go away once I add a couple squirts of water to this. This is pretty much perfect. This is what I want from a good unaged Jamaican rum. This is a straight shot down the middle, just a ripping fastball. You cannot criticize this. Add some water and we'll come back to it. 3, 4, I'll probably need 5. Yep, 5 was the correct amount. 5 is usually right with these strong ones, but I'm always a little bit nervous to go with the 5th one because I'm always like, am I going to overwater it? Anyways, but he always needs the 5th one. So let's move on to the Rum Nation Pot Still Jamaica Rum, 5 years old. Oloroso sherry finish. That's a little bit of a misnomer because this is actually, I'm going to read this, matured in the Caribbean and then refined for 15 to 18 months in second fill Oloroso barrels, plus a small percentage of Peter Jimenez barrels. So, you know, but I guess, second fill Oloroso plus a small percentage of Pedro Jimenez was too long for a title of a rum, so they're just calling it a Oloroso sherry finish. This is 50% alcohol, bottled around, based on the little code here, which is L19148. I would think this is a 2019 bottling. All right, let's 50% alcohol. Let's give this a little try on the nose. So it comes off a little bit closed. But so I'm getting like lots of dried fruit, prunes, figs. I'm getting some fennel, black olives, dates, tobacco, like a stoved red Virginian tobacco, maybe a little black Cavendish. And yeah, a little bit more of that cake note. Cake topped with like fruit sauce, dried fruit sauce, if that makes sense. It's quite floral too. Makes me wonder if these sherry casks were European oak, because sometimes French oak can get that, or European oak, Spanish oak maybe, can get that sort of floral character, but I'm not sure. There's a Dr. Pepper kind of thing going on here, which is kind of cool. It just feels a little bit congested, which can sometimes happen with finishes. The two different cask types don't totally get along. But it smells like something that will open up with a little bit with water again. So we'll add water on the palate. Okay, so it's good. It is a hair bit confused, as sometimes finished spirits can be. I'm reminded of that. What was it? The Lot 40 cask strength that was finished in French oak, that was just kind of didn't know what it was. This is not that bad, but in fact, it's not bad at all. This is quite nice, but it does feel a little bit like it's having an identity crisis. So we're leading on black pepper, lots of black pepper. Cigarette smoke, nice cigarette smoke, like American spirits. Some old tire, some dried cherry, dried raspberry. Guess that the raspberry is kind of like tied up with that floral character, which makes me think of European oak. Some leatheriness, some like old books. Cigar wrapper, like Maduro cigar wrapper, not like a Honduran one or something. Yeah, it just feels tight, feels congested. This needs, it feels like it needs 10 years of bottle aging, but what I'm going to do is give it a couple squirts of water, and we'll come back to it. It's nice. It's a fun kind of spicy, peppery, fruity, floral spirit, but it feels like it's like the different elements are kind of fighting against each other in this. So I'm going to give this a couple squirts of water, and we shall return in a moment. Good enough. And the last entry we have is also a Rum Nation, Jamaica. This is the 7-year-old pot still rum, limited edition. It is released 2018, lot L18-134, bottled at cask strength, which is, 61.2% alcohol, so strong. No idea what the initial cask on this was, but it's, you would think, because of the cost involved, probably American oak. But let's see. All right. On the nose of this 7-year-old, cast strength. Boom. Okay. So we're getting like a sawdust explosion. This smells like a cooperage, like just had a bomb dropped on it. And the wood is just flying around everywhere. But nice. I'm getting some black licorice, some Turkish delight. Lots of coconut too. Coconut pie, vanilla, creme brulee, lots of white pepper. Touch of candied ginger in there. That can sometimes... Sorry, that's my cell phone. Yeah, some gingery notes that can sometimes come along with some kind of slightly raw oak, but not offending me in this case, because the other elements are so well balancing off against that. And then there's some sort of pound cake, but like pound cake with olives on top. Lots of pound cake with olives on top. Dried flowers, some lemon peel, and a little bit of coffee cake. Coffee cake with like cinnamon, but also a little bit of clove, little cardamom. And there's this kind of cologne note, which makes me, along with the woody note, that makes me think of like wild turkey. So you're gonna throw a shot of wild turkey rare breed into this. Yeah, I could see rare breed fans really getting into this nose. This is fun, and yeah, this is nice. This is big. This is dense on the palate. Okay, definitely big. Big, creamy, sort of dominates my mouth. Definitely a like a bourbon drinker's rum, in the best sense. I mean, the notes actually just kind of echo the nose. So we're getting sawdust, vanilla, ginger, aniseed, lots of aniseed, dried flowers, grass, cardamom, cinnamon. Cinnamon and clove, white pepper, and that cake thing, which is really distinctive of Worthy Park. There's a little bit of like a citrus peel thing. It's like a mix of lemon and lime and maybe orange. Plus, we're getting that sort of rare breed, wild turkey, bourbony, cologne-y, woody thing. The finish is extremely long. So we're getting Earl Grey tea, a little bergamot hint, flowers, black pepper, and kind of a vanilla fudge note. Yes, this is good. And more than that, it is like an accessible good. Like, I feel like I could give this to family members on the rocks, and they would enjoy it, which is not something I could say about most Jamaican rums. This is very accessible, and I hate to say it, potentially a Foursquare competitor. I mean, so for one thing, this is I think I like this more than the Worthy Park official releases that I had, which is a little worrying. So Worthy Park, please be taking notes on what Rum Nation is doing here. I'm going to add some water to this. 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that enough? No, we need half a squirt more. Okay. Overall, a very impressive flight. Well done, Rum Nation. And not a drop of sugar water to be seen in any of these. These are all quite dry and delightfully so. Thank you. Thank you for deciding to change your ways from how you were circa, what, 7, 8 years ago to, what we got here. This was a good decision. You will be rewarded by the consumer once they sort of catch up to the rest of us. All right, back to the Unaged Jamaica. Now with water, now put down to somewhere in the 40s strength wise. Okay, so it comes off as a little sweeter, but also at the same time more green, more sort of gloriously green. Yeah, so this is like vegetables submerged in buttercream or something, like delicious sweet buttercream. Olives and V8 all day long, but creamy and sweety and cakey and fantastic. And the cake, and there's like some rotting flowers there, and it's fantastic. Nothing to complain about here. This is a great little unaged rum nose. On the palate. Oh, God, that's good. So I can't tell, because I just haven't done my tour through the Worthy Park range well enough. I can't tell whether this is like just one mark that they've just up and bottled or a blend. But whatever it is, this is good. This is good shit and very well made. Just a lovely, pot still, parade of savoriness, olives, and flowers. Again, more floral, more vegetal, a hair bit sweeter, and creamier too. I suspected that the mouthfeel would improve with a little bit of water, and it has. This is now sort of coating my entire mouth, which makes me extremely happy. And the finish is better too. It's less sort of purely confectionery now. It's much more, well, you have the cake still there, but it's cake balanced off against the kind of artichoke and olives and those kinds of green flavors. Terrific. I'm going to give this 87 plus out of 100. And again, you can still buy this. You can still find this around. Very well done. Thank you to Worthy Park for making this and to Rum Nation for bottling it. Moving on to the Oloroso Sherry Finish, 5-year-old. This was the one that really seemed kind of cramped and congested to me. So let's see if water has solved that at all. Okay, yeah, a little bit more forthcoming now. There's like a gush of coal smoke and also like just more fruit. There's kind of like a Capri Sun parade of fruit juice coming through now. More ashy too, a little bit sweeter. I mean, it works. It does work. It's not a perfect marriage. It feels like, this is, and I feel like I've ranted about this before. If you want to combine the influence from different casks, just like blend different casks that have had full maturation in those casks. It just works better than taking something and then giving it a short secondary maturation. IMHO. But it's still nice. All right, on the palate. I'm I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure about this one. Again, it's nice. I mean, it does feel more like a standard Worthy Park with kind of a sherry overcoat, and really a too heavy sherry overcoat, like a smothering sherry overcoat atop of it, rather than a fully integrated spirit. But it basically works. So we're getting pepper, ash, ashy pepper, fennel, dried fruits, flowers. It's hard to complain. It's just you can. I feel left wanting more by this. Let me give this one more shot. It feels like there's more there, and it's just not coming. It's just not coming out somehow. Tricky. This is one of the ones, as some of the other reviewers out there say, put this away in your cellar for about 20 years and then come back to it. It kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like it needs time. At the moment, I'm going to give this an 80. Let's give it an 85 plus. Not my favorite thing in the world, but pretty darn good. So yeah, let's leave it at that. 85 plus out of 100. All right, and last up, the 7-year-old, which I said was potential competition for Foursquare, now with water in it. So suddenly, this has become incredibly minty. It's both like a garden mint kind of mintiness, but also like a Tic Tac sort of mint. Sorry, that was my radiator having a moment. Yeah, absolutely terrific. Sorry, so it's gotten actually more bourbony along with more minty, and that's okay. I'm kind of into this. This is like minty, green, olivey, fennelly bourbon comes to Jamaica. And I'm totally up for this. On the palate, kind of the same thing happens on the palate. Ooh, the pepper comes out. Also quite minty. And extremely good. There's a nice, long, drying finish on tons of black pepper. And yeah, that sort of Tic Tac note. But nice. These are like the nicest Tic Tacs in the world. And they're like, they have like little fennel seeds attached to them. Yeah, woody, green, olivey, cakey still. Cake-like. It has that sort of birth cakey thing going on. Floral. I mean, I like this better, honestly, than Worthy Park's own answers to Foursquare. This is doing it for me. I'm gonna give this, but it still comes off as like thoroughly Jamaican is the thing. It still has that that kind of green, almost leaning towards like potato root or root vegetable note, which makes me think, Ray and Nephew, Jamaica, that all those things. feels bourbony, it feels Foursquare, it feels international, and at the same time, it hasn't lost sight of Jamaica. I'm going to give this 89 points out of 100. This is very successful, and very much worth your time and money. All right, so what do we got here? We got 87 plus for the Unaged. For the 5-year-old Oloroso thing, we got an 85 plus, and a straight 89 for the Rum Nation Jamaica 7-year-old Cask strength. I'm generally impressed by this. This is a good range. And again, well done to Fabio Rossi and Rum Nation for deciding you weren't going to add no more sugar to your rums. This is the correct decision. You were ahead of the market. We're not there yet, but it's coming. The day is coming when, I wouldn't say rum drinkers are going to change, but the market is going to be attracted more to rum, and they're going to be attracted more to the drier ones. And this is going to be sort of, this kind of stuff is going to be right front and center in people's interest. So well done, and I hope the market rewards you for your fine efforts here. And well done to Worthy Park as well for actually, making this stuff. Thanks for watching, and cheers.